Well, the countdown to that visit has just begun, and our senior executive editor Abhishek Kapoor spoke to the ambassador of India to the US, Taranjit Singh Sandhu, ahead of this visit of Prime Minister Modi. Let's listen into this conversation.
Prime Minister's big visit to the United States is all set to roll out with Prime Minister Modi embarking on his journey in the next few hours. And we have us, the man in the hot seat till the time the Prime Minister lands in DC, India's ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Taranjit Singh Sandhu. Hello, sir, from New Delhi. How are you? Big visit panning out, and what's really happening to welcome the Prime Minister? If you can give us a broad sweep of what's going to happen over the next few days.
Namaskar, Abhishek. Prime Minister has visited United States several times. Each time it has been a special, something new comes in. But this one is indeed a historic and a comprehensive visit. And I'm not using these terms loosely. It's a state visit. And please keep in mind that the state visit is the highest expression of a friendly bilateral relationship. This is an honor for India and for the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister is going to be the third Indian leader who will be undertaking a state visit in the last 75 years. And in this visit, there is also separately a joint address to the US Congress. Actually, the Prime Minister will be the first Indian leader in the last 75 years who will be addressing the US Congress twice. And in that, he will actually join a special club of icons like Nelson Mandela, Winston Churchill, and some Israeli leaders. So this is a very unique.
Right, sir.
And there is much excitement in the air. In fact, you would have seen messages, statements of welcome from governors. And governors are like chief ministers in India. They are very powerful here. Members of Senate,
yes, sir.
House, leading members, state legislatures, industry, academia, think tanks, and of course, the Indian American community stretching from across the United States, from Hawaii to Alaska, to Florida, to all parts of the US. So certainly the preparations are in full swing, and this visit is going to have a ceremonial as well as a substantive aspect which will complement each other.
Right. Ambassador Sandhu, if you could, that sounds like a really big one with the kind of engagement that we are seeing from the American side to make it really count as a big visit. If you could share with our viewers some details of the kind of ceremonies that go with this, the kind of engagements Prime Minister is going to have, the number of meetings he's going to have for the 4 days that he is in the US, both in New York and DC.
So, Abhishek, as part of the state visit, there will be a ceremonial arrival in the White House with all the ingredients, including a proper gun salute and also the US military presenting an honor guard. And then, of course, there's going to be the official talks. Another important component is the state dinner. And that will be hosted by the President and the First Lady. And we will have a wide variety of the cream of United States attending that. You will have the top cabinet officials. You will have the top legislators, meaning senators and congressmen. And of course, leading lights from academia, think tanks, and not the least, but certainly the top CEOs across United States of top US industry. So there are also going to be other elements in it. incidentally, we also have a state lunch, which will be hosted by Vice President. And there are going to be important other elements. You know, you will see the touch when I'm saying that this is going to be a substantive visit. You will see different elements of it. And that will include industry, professionals, academia. So the takeaways right now, I don't want to get ahead, but I will say this much, that do expect concrete outcomes. Technology is going to be a very important key, especially critical and emerging technology, which you have already seen. Both the NSAs, our NSA came here earlier in the year, and just now Jake Sullivan was in Delhi. So defense industrial collaboration would also be another. And if I may quickly mention, you will also have healthcare, energy, education, including skilling, apart from other areas.
Right. That sounds like really big in terms of very substantive takeaways that are going to be there, sir, from this visit of Prime Minister. You know, I'm not going to ask you specifics about the deals because that's going to be that moment when it happens. But the United States Ambassador Sandhu has been really building it up by White House advisor calling it a moment when India-U.S. partnership is going to attain escape velocity. We had the US NSA Jake Sullivan from Tokyo saying that in some ways the India-US partnership is going to be more important than the US-China relationship. What's really gone into it? I'm sure you have had a tremendous amount of role that you have played in making this really happen. If you could share some aspects of the kind of work that has gone into making this really happen.
So, Abhishek, you are very, very correct that there is solid momentum in this partnership, and it's going to touch a new high. It's going to the next level, and I think the biggest credit goes to both Indian as well as the US leadership. Both Prime Minister Modi and President Biden for years have been invested in this relationship. And this actually goes to even before President Biden, when he was a senator, and of course Prime Minister Modi, much before even 2014. He has actually toured the United States in a very significant way. Now, I must also add here that beyond the governments, and I say it is a very strong pointer in that, beyond the governments, other constituencies have also been invested. So in ISET actually brought government, industry, academia together. The first one which was held here, and the second one when Jake Sullivan was in Delhi recently. You know, there is an organic development of our convergences. And in this, India is today seen as a reliable partner in global supply chain. As I told you, that the relationship is reaching the next level. So no longer it's just going to be a buyer-seller kind of a relationship or a market relationship. Actually, we are getting into co-production, co-development, co-creation. So therefore, we are trying to make things come together. What essentially is also happening is that Indian talent, the Indian youth, and its ability to make affordable solutions at a scale. And that is combining with the US technology. So there is indeed a significant interest in India's story, and Prime Minister's speech at the joint session. There is a lot of interest in knowing about his vision of India-US partnership and in the India story.